Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. My name is Christina. This is the extended reading for Aquarius. So if you haven't watched the first part, go watch that first and then come back here when you're done. So we're continuing on with what is something that Aquarius can focus on, or something good to focus on is how I phrase the question. So we talked about the fact that I feel like you Aquarius have been holding a very strong position for a long time. This energy has been coming out so much in the last month or so, I want to say, but it's actually coming through today as holding a strong position, and it's almost like having to hold back on something, right? It's like this is the heat lamp. This is the heat lamp energy. You were using perhaps your solar plexus, right? Your willpower, your drive, your motivation to create something or to nurture something or to give enough of your energy to a specific focus that you've been putting so much effort in, and it kind of feels like you were getting to the point where it was I don't know if anything is going to come from this, right? And it's the reason why that's such a challenging position to be in is because it was you were holding some aspect of yourself back, or your energy back from moving forward, right? It's because you had to sit in a position of holding this energy on top of the eggs, right? That kind of thing. Waiting for them to hatch. I don't know why hatch was a word that I couldn't pull in the first part of the reading, but it's here now. Anyways, so that's what the squaring of the circle is talking about, of finally some sort of idea or manifestation that you've envisioned, some sort of vision that you had, a dream that you had perhaps, is now arriving in the physical with the squaring of the circle. But what else was coming through today with this section, with this Chariot? It's I feel like you, Aquarius, were not only holding a vision, but also with this shark energy. It's if this is your best friend or somebody that you know, or if it's not a specific person, it could just be an idea or a concept or something like that. It feels like a person, though. I'm going to say that just because it feels like the octopus, your best friend, right? Somebody that you when you get together, it's you have exactly the same ideas. You connect on sort of that, the mental space, but also the heart space, right? With the know yourself, it's you saw that your friend perhaps was in an energy of not being who they are or who you know them to be, right? It's they had to put on some sort of armor that was misrepresenting them in some way, because what they actually are is this octopus owl, right? Somebody with a lot of wisdom and the thing about the octopus, they're incredibly intelligent, very sort of gentle energy, perhaps spooks a bit easily with the octopus, but they're coming off as being very sort of sharp, right? Not who they are, with this know yourself. And so I feel some aspect of what you were doing, Aquarius, perhaps this is one of the eggs, right? The black egg, the truth. You were holding on to some sort of truth about this other person, because I see this as being the know yourself as being you have an idea of yourself. Others also have a concept or an idea of who you are, and those two things don't always match. And so the more authentic you are, it means that the more congruent those two self-concepts are going to overlap, right? Your authenticity is represented by how you see yourself and how others see yourself, and those two ideas are the same, or as similar as you can possibly get them, right? You always represent exactly who you are to others. That's what this know yourself and the Chariot combination is coming through for you. But I feel you Aquarius have done that. It's kind of or it's you purposely, because of this, right? Look at these two cards. It's I feel this is how you view yourself. The deer as being sort of the very sort of perhaps if you resonate more with like feminine energies in general, but you're also absolutely capable of accessing and utilizing your more masculine energies, right? To hold a specific focus, to work towards your goals, that kind of dynamic, right? So these are two sort of versions of yourself, is kind of how it's coming through. But what your person is, like if these are the two versions of them, of being sort of like this like wise octopus, but they were presenting themselves as the shark, which is not at all who they are, right? And I feel like you, Aquarius, have been holding this vision for them, right? Like holding your knowledge of their truth, of who they are to you, so strongly that it's allowing this one to see themselves more clearly. Because their self-concept, perhaps, how they see themselves is being in the shark energy, which is absolutely not them. It's not them. And I don't think that they were seeing that. And I feel like what you are doing for them, Aquarius, is shining a spotlight on who they are, actually. To you, perhaps, right? How you see them. Which is incredible. It's because it's this Eight of Voices, right? This Eight of Voices is absolutely the shark energy, where it's like they can't see perhaps themselves clearly because of for whatever reason. Perhaps it's like their environment, or perhaps it's like some sort of self-concept that they had that is really sort of negative or not true, or as a result of other people in their lives sort of imposing a negative idea or energy onto them, right? But because you are sort of holding your vision of who they are so brightly, it's allowing them to sort of reconnect to perhaps their heart space, right? This heart space energy. Because this is sort of like, because it's with the golden egg, right? The golden egg is being sort of the heart space with this thing. It's like, this is their heart space hatching, right? It's like they've been in sort of a protective golden egg kind of energy, but it's hatching now. It's beating. Something about the octopus legs. This is the first time these cards have come out together, which I love so much. It's like they're able to sort of access now this, like the heart of gold is hatching, is kind of what this is feeling like. And that's so incredible and beautiful. And this Hanged Man card came out in the Pisces reading is like having a sort of epiphany about something about their past, perhaps. So there could be that dynamic. I'm just going to sort of leave it general. It's like they're having this epiphany about themselves is kind of how it's coming through. And then you have the Maktub, which I love so much. This is the cosmic remote control, because I feel like there's something in that energy, or that shift in the focus, where they're seeing themselves more clearly, a more true representation of who they are, and that's allowing them to move to the next thing for them, right? It's like allowing them to pick a new destination, like make a new choice, that kind of thing. It's much sort of forward momentum is kind of how it's feeling. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to move on to the last section of where's an area of growth for you. Because again, I feel like even as I'm delivering this message, I feel like for you, Aquarius, it's like you've gotten to the point where it seems like there's going to be no movement or nothing's going to happen or whatever it is, but it's like trying to keep those thoughts and ideas from interrupting your focus on these two eggs that you have, like two areas of focus that you are trying to nurture or whatever it is. Because you have here the protection card, which also came out in the Pisces reading. And then friction and resistance, right? Two very sort of difficult energies. But it's like this may be sort of the two focuses, right? One's resistance, one's friction. Both of them are kind of not showing any sort of forward momentum. And because of that, it's putting you in this area of protection or energy of protection where it's kind of like it's just feeling drained, right? Feeling drained or not having enough resources, or just like the endless slog of having to sort of keep a really strong focus. However, the area of growth here is that like the dragonfly, which is sort of this energy of balance, and that you have support and guidance and your guides who are connected with you. It's talking about the coming together of body, mind, and spirit, because this protection card I often see as sort of like a physical response to threat, right? Or if it's not threat, it's just like long-term sort of strain kind of energy. Like it's a long-term strain sort of, especially if you've been feeling any sort of tension in your body anywhere. It's trying to sort of clear that by connecting with the spirit and the mind aspects as well, because I feel like on some level, Aquarius, you've absolutely felt this coming, right? It's like almost like you've perhaps convinced yourself that it's not, in order to sort of soothe some of the tension, right? It's like if you've been like hunching your shoulders or holding a lot of tension in your shoulders and neck area, because that's where the heart and the throat intersect, right? So if you've been feeling any tension in your shoulders or neck or back or whatever it is, the knowledge or the understanding that something is coming might be that reaction, right? It's like, because what you have here next is the cheetah, the elephant, and the dragon, which is such an incredible energy to have. Because when I saw that black egg, I thought of the dragon, right? Those two go together, but you also have the golden egg as well. So it's like double that energy. And so it's almost like if you have been feeling resistance or in this energy of protection, it's because it's like you feel this coming. So it's kind of wanting you to shift your perspective into, instead of it being like nothing is coming of the situation, that might be what you're interpreting of this energy of, like, if you're feeling tension or strain or just tiredness, fatigue, you're attributing that energy into nothing will come of this situation. But in reality, the area where you can grow, Aquarius, is to acknowledge that you're feeling this energy of protection because the energy that's coming in is so big, right? It's all of this kind of like what you are manifesting is 7 to 10 times bigger than you could ever sort of imagine. I'm just using those numbers because the 7 was the 7 of emotions and the 10 of inspiration, right? It's like it's a whole exponential magnitude bigger than what you were expecting, is kind of how this energy is feeling today. And so with this with the dragonfly coming in as balance, and the inner balance card is like, it's really important for you to maintain your inner balance, and understanding that you may be feeling this physically in your body as sort of like a preparation for the magnitude of this energy to come in. Okay. I feel like that's all that's wanting to be said about those cards. But you have here the modern card, which I absolutely adore. It's been shifting a lot recently. But today it's talking about an alignment of events, right? It's been talking about like decoding messages using symbols and stuff like that to pinpoint a specific event or time. And it's kind of like, I feel like, Aquarius, if you've been receiving sort of a lot of synchronicities recently, or just like a lot of symbols perhaps that you don't understand, right? Like you've been noticing things a lot, but it's like it's not clear what the message is about that. It's just something that you've been paying attention to, perhaps. I feel like it's going to be made clear because there is a certain alignment that's happening that will allow you to understand what the message is, or understand what this arrival is of some sort. And what it's bringing in with it is ecstasy. I'm just going to leave that there because I feel like that's super self-explanatory. The Two of Inspiration and the Seven of Wands. It's like, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Pay attention to sort of the symbols that will be arriving, or things like that. With the Seven of Inspiration, I mean, this card also comes out so much of like remembering to sort of keep out the negative thoughts is kind of how it's feeling today. Like just like if you ever catch yourself in sort of that energy of like nothing will come of this situation, is to sort of like keep that energy away and focus on this new thing of like you're being prepared, perhaps physically in your body, or just like energetically, spiritual. All of those things are linked, of course. Being prepared for this new thing, because I feel like it's going to, because this is the energy of like keeping your focus on the two opportunities, right? It's like those two opportunities are going to magnify in a very sort of unexpected way. Okay, and then you have next the Death card. And I want to say that this is coming in because I feel like there will be a lot of things leaving your life, or a lot of change is kind of how it's coming in. It's or brushing away of any sort of energies that don't belong or that are going to hinder this sort of new arrival. What I want to say about this as well is that I feel like, Aquarius, for you, it's like there are energies in your environment that are sort of leaving or being ended in some way because you can already feel the rumbles of this coming, right? And so this energy it's kind of like, because like the pebbles are shaking, right? Like some sort of energetic phenomena is happening where all of the sort of moths are being cleared out, right? Because they can feel it before. It's like when all the rats sort of leave the ship, right? It's like they know, they can tell when there's something big coming, but it's not anything like a plague, right? That's the thing. I feel like you Aquarius are anticipating it to be sort of a negative arrival when it's actually sort of this incredible, like, powerful shift and change. And it's this, the Star and the Queen of Voices, because of course this is you, Aquarius, the Star card. All of this sort of clarity and forward momentum is kind of how I'm seeing this. A rebirth, hatching of the eggs, whatever that means to you. And this Queen of Voices, though, it's because it's like, while this new thing is coming in, it's kind of like it stirs up everything that's not latched down, basically, right? Anything that's not a permanent fixture is going to be shaken up in some way. For the good, though, right? It's like, it's not anything negative is what this message is wanting to convey to you. And then you have here the Sun and the Fool, which is incredible, right? All of this sort of illumination, clarity, but also reminding you to sort of stay focused in your center, like connect to your center, connect to your inner balance, your sense of self. That sort of like, you're not quite out of the woods yet, is what I want to say in terms of this, right? It's like you've been holding a specific focus for a very long time. And it's like what you can look forward to is that there will be this sort of transition where you can sort of take off the heat lamp, turn off the heat lamp, let go of sort of any like protective kind of measures that you've been putting in place, right? it's like there will be relief. I feel like you're not quite there yet, but it will absolutely be made clear to you when it arrives. And it will bring with it all of this sort of illumination, new start, a new adventure, a new phase. This is you sort of going into the next thing, whatever it is. And I love when the Fool ends a reading, because it's just so incredible. Because it's like, what's next, right? What's next? I feel like that's a question that you should be asking, Aquarius, is what's next? I want to bring up this card again, the balance, spirituality, and practicality, the full moon in Pisces, because it feels like for you, well, I would go watch the Pisces reading if I were you after this, if you haven't done that already. But it feels like if you've been focused on like spirituality, there's something very practical coming in to balance that. If you've been focused on very practical things, there's something spiritual that perhaps might provide like a blessing or a miracle of some sort that's going to provide relief in some way, right? But it feels like you've been holding a very specific spiritual focus, Aquarius, right? It was something like a manifestation, if you want to call it that, or like just an idea or a vibration, like trying to bring something in for yourself, and it is arriving in the physical is kind of how it's feeling. And it was 444 as I said that. So Aquarius, I'm going to end the reading there. I do have other videos if you're interested in watching those. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.